But most people get bodyweight progressions completely wrong. They treat it like a checklist, grinding through reps without actually improving their movement. And the worst part, that effort doesn't carry over into their sport or lifting. Now, if you've ever felt stuck, unable to increase your reps or advance to a harder variation, this is why. But the good news is that in this video, I'm going to give you a solution and a way to test it out immediately so you can start using this process in your own training right away. Here's the problem. Most people focus on just doing the movement instead of improving it. But real progress, the kind that makes you stronger, more efficient, and better at what you do, is about more than just reps. Now, if you're forcing positions without control, you're leaving so much potential on the table. And this is why people hit plateaus. They struggle to progress and feel like they're always fighting against their own body instead of working with it. The key is that strength needs control, mobility needs application, and everything just needs to work together. At JMB, we take a performance-first approach to bodyweight training. We don't just stretch and call it mobility. And we don't just grind out reps for the sake of numbers. Instead, we focus on 3 core principles. We assess by finding the weak links that limit your progress. And we address by training smarter to fix them. Then we apply, taking that improved movement and making it work in your sport, lifting, or daily life. But before we get into the test you can try today, let's clear up one of the biggest myths in bodyweight training. Now, a lot of people think of bodyweight training as a linear progression, sort of like adding weight to a bar. But that's not how it actually works. There aren't really progressions in bodyweight training. And what you actually have are variations of a foundational movement that you should strive to master. Now, mastery isn't about making something perfect. It's about making it so solid that you can do it the same way every single time. And once you have that, you can start building on it with different variations, not as a strict progression, but as a way to develop control and strength in different ways. So let's take the top position of a push-up in relation to the planche. It's a similar looking position, a plank. But as you start working towards the planche, you'll move through different variations. You have the tuck, bent leg, straddle, single leg, full straddle. But here's the key. One variation might feel harder for you and easier for someone else. So in other words, it's not a straight path. It's about adjustments, control, and using variations to get stronger, not just mindlessly increasing reps. Now, this is why mastering the foundations matters so much. If the top position of your push-up mechanics isn't rock solid, your plank, then trying to move into a tuck planche is just going to be really frustrating. Now, you've probably heard this one before. You have to hold a progression for 60 seconds for 3 months before you can move on or something like that. Basically, it's nonsense. Yes, your joints and muscles need time to adapt, but that time frame isn't the same for everyone. There are multiple factors at play here. For example, your joint strength, your movement history, how your nervous system adapts to new positions. Now, some people need more time in a variation, while others can move forward faster. Instead of sticking to some arbitrary timeline, you should focus on the following. Is my body ready for the next level of difficulty? Am I moving with control, not just surviving the position? And am I listening to my body and avoiding unnecessary strain? Now, this is where the AAA framework comes in, because when you assess, address, and apply, you're training in a way that actually makes sense for you. Now, let's go through this using the top position of the push-up, the plank position. Most people think push-ups are just about chest and arm strength. But if your shoulders, core, or alignment are off, you're not getting the full benefit. First off, let's assess what's going on with your plank. Step 1 is where we assess. So I want you to try this. Get into a push-up position, but don't lower yourself yet. Can you keep your shoulders packed down? Can you engage your core without sagging? Do your wrists feel stable? If any of these feel shaky or weak, that's your bottleneck. And next, we'll address that. Step 2 is address, and instead of forcing through bad reps, let's fix the weak link. Now, if your shoulders shrug, practice scapular shrugs to build control. If your core sags, adjust the position by placing your knees on the ground. That's to reinforce your alignment. And if your wrists hurt, do wrist prep drills before loading them up. All right, so step 3 is to apply. Now, go back to your push-up and try it again. Can you keep everything engaged? Does the movement feel more controlled and powerful? Now, this small adjustment leads to big gains because now your push-ups are actually making you stronger, not just tiring you out. You don't have to follow some rigid system or waste time repeating movements that aren't serving you. So test this out right now in your training by using the AAA framework. and I guarantee you'll feel the difference. And by the way, this is exactly what we do in all of our programs to help you refine your movement, build real strength, and actually make progress in the things that are important to you. And be sure to check out this next video where I solve 90% of your fitness problems.